Hi, this is Kristen, Carr, and Rob Larson, and we're going to talk a little bit about schools data. Rob, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Rob Larson. I'm the CIO at CRMLS, and I am the chair of the RESO Data Dictionary Work Group. I've been involved pre-RESO, the RET standard, since 2004, I think was my first meeting. And around 2011, I formed the Data Dictionary Group, and I've been managing the work group and editor of the dictionary itself ever since.
Thanks, Rob. So I'm Kristen Carr. I've known Rob since 2004. I've been involved with RET since about that time. I chaired the education work group back when it was RET. I did an intro to RET for business people, like a half-day seminar a million years ago. I was on the board of directors for RESO for several years when we formed it. I have about 15 years MLS experience, and the last 10 years I've been at RPR. Even though I'm only 12, I have many, many years of experience changing slides. So what we want to talk about is our consideration of using standardized schools data from the U.S. Department of Education to make connecting from one real estate system to another using some standardized data that we're getting from an external source.
It's definitely a need that we have in the industry today, no doubt.
So the reason this all came up was a year and a half ago-ish. The Austin Board of Realtors was having a problem connecting from their MLS system to the RPR school reports, which are provided by Niche. And the reason we had trouble connecting was because there were pre-form text or even a pick list of text connecting from the MLS system to RPR. So Rob, how do you feel about that data entry?
We had the same thing. Schools themselves to change so quickly, and the only way you would find out about it is your members coming to you. So, it was very common to have schools be just a text field. Even today, when people have adopted the RESO standard of a pick list, they still have like an adjacent text field for those school changes that they found out about from their member who went and listed in an area and said, hey, by the way. So not only does that create an instability from MLS to MLS, nobody's saying here's exactly the school name. So you might have just the name of the city that the school district is in. Like, you could have LA, you could have LA School District, you could have Los Angeles Unified School District. So there's a lot of variety out there with school districts and school names that make it really hard to do exactly what you're describing.
So one of the things that we found with Austin specifically was we were connecting from the school district to the school district and not even being able to connect school to school, like specifically Lake Worth Beach Elementary School to Lake Worth Beach Elementary School. It just went to Palm Beach County School Districts, and that leaves a whole other realm of problems. And then we started looking at possible solutions for that. So while we were looking at RPR, we use a company called Niche that provides our school reports, and the National Center for Education Statistics is part of the U.S. Department of Education. And the last couple of months, Rob and I have been talking to them to look at the kind of data they have available, some unique identifiers, heat maps, all kinds of stuff. And Rob, what do you think about our experience there?
Well, I'm apprehensive yet optimistic. I'm pensive.
I'm telling Doug.
I'm pensive yet bambacious. That's not even a word.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
Anyhow, I'm delighted. Even on your earlier slide mentioning that you were able to tie out to school districts, yeah, they are a bit more stable. So if you get past the everybody calling a school district by a slightly different, way of whether the word district is in there or not, things like that, you can map out to that, but it still doesn't really solve the problem at a large scale. And also doesn't give you any kind of notice. When we came across these guys, when you contacted me and I was like, hey, wait a minute, who, what, where? And then I realized that NCS for the National Center for Education Statistics, it was like, all right, I'm a little more optimistic. Is this government or is it some company that's like collecting it, looking to sell it? And
Right.
it looked like we were like actually dealing with the money here, and not spending money, but getting good solid data. I'm stoked.
All right, so we're pausing so I can plug my computer in, and we just had coronavirus distance learning dishes being done, if anyone heard that in the background.
Yeah, I didn't.
Sorry. So a fun fact is when I was in college, I worked for a research company that did some studies for NCES, National Center for Education Statistics. So I have a little bit of background knowledge, and it is legit. And we do have lots of really good resources we can share later, apart from coronavirus dishwashing. So what we did at RPR was we got the data from NCES and worked with Austin and CoreLogic to take the school name and also add a unique identifier that the Department of Education uses to identify every school and make it easier to go from the MLS system or any other system into our system or any other system, just using that UID like you would an agent ID or a broker ID to get to the specific information that you're looking for. And instead of running into those freeform text issues, you're able to go from CoreLogic Matrix into RPR right into the schools report. And we've been using that system for about 2 years. It's been working for us, and we'd like to add it to the data dictionary. Rob, can you talk a little bit about what that means, adding it to the data dictionary, how that would work, why we would do that, why we
potentially
wouldn't?
Means an awful lot. If you take schools, elementary school, there's a lot of them in the US. And the notion for RESO to create a pick list item, we call it an enumeration, for every single school and then maintain it as a volunteer organization, that's not going to happen, right? So
How often is it updated from NCS? Do you remember?
Sorry, Joss, I'm recording. Turn that off. I wait for the system to spin down. The trials and tribulations of working at home. So anyhow, where was I? So when you take a look in the dictionary, you see, your elementary school, middle, junior, whatever you call it, high school, they're all accounted for. And when you go in and look at those and see that, okay, elementary school, that's a pick list, right? And then you go to see what those pick lists are. It says, we've chosen not to enumerate this. In other words, add those items in there.
Right.
How would a volunteer organization keep up with that? It's not practical for us to try and aggregate every school in the US and then to keep it up to date. So do
you remember how often NCS said they update? I thought it was annually.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly the frequency. The thing that really sort of caught my eye was, or ear, was the notion that the updates are going to be potentially in advance of Let's see. You can't see it too well. Anyway, hold on one second. Hey, Art.
Yes, we got this.
Yeah, we sure can. You want to just do it now? Okay. Okay. I will. I'm here recording. Actually, you're on my recording with Kristen on one of our RESO presentations. I'll tell everyone you said.
Just texted him.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get that going. All right. Sure.
Available. There's APIs with raw data. There's also a bunch of heat maps. I think these are really cool because one of them is housing areas with mortgages and then cities. Did you look at any of those, Rob, or did I just geek out on them?
You did geek out, but I'm definitely aware of them. And, from the notion of, less about the dictionary, that there's a, already done implementation or, potentially a widget that you could use. The dictionary data behind this, but, no doubt when I put on my MLSI, it's like, okay, how could I potentially use this? Do I work with a vendor, or what projects do I have going on to where I could potentially just take this already done functionality and just drop it in and be up and running quickly? It's very attractive, and I'm sure there are a number of people that are going to look at that.
So there's some really cool things, I think. There's the raw data that we talked about. There's the UID stuff that we talked about. We just looked at some heat maps. But if you look at the NCS website, there are like a boatload of resources, and you can work with your vendor in implementing just a very basic, which is a UID, short name, long name, and then using all this other stuff, including those heat maps. Why are you laughing?
Because when you lean back, you got all kind of muted, and it sounded like one of the parents from Charlie Brown.
Don't cut this. We're not cutting this. Right? I mean, we have to be fun. We're not cutting this. All right, hold on. So here's our contact information. Rob's the cute one. I'm the smart one.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And then we want to remind everyone to practice social distancing, which we're obviously not doing here with Idris and Kevin.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. These are the good old days.
Yeah, when you could talk to people. So I'm begging Rob not to cut any of our mistakes, and I'm going to figure out how to stop recording.
Well,